Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Doing good. How are you? Yeah, thanks for having me. No problem. Alrighty. I keep hearing I keep hearing some delay. I don't really know where that's coming from. Oh, that might be it. Haha. Mm-hmm. Okay, done. Ooh. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna grab my tea.
All right, how are you guys all doing today? We are getting ready to start, so just give me a few more minutes.
Yep, sorry, I'm back. All right. Oh, I can't even see. I don't know if I'm seeing what's supposed to be lining up. Oh, yep, yep. Okay, so it's on your end. That's cool. Sweet.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to World Pangolin Day. Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing? I am here with the wonderful Juliana Masseloux. I hope I said that right.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good. Who is a special guest speaker who's going to join me on this stream and talk to us about pangolins and everything.
Thanks for having me, everyone.
And this is the first stream where it's really animal focused. This is a stream for conservation awareness and charity and everything. Hold on a second, I'm being instructed to improve some technical things. All right. And so this is going to be supporting the Pangolin, oh my goodness, now I forgot the words. The Pangolin Crisis Fund. So through any of the purchases through this shop, 50% of the revenue is going to be going straight to the Pangolin Crisis Fund to help fund their conservation efforts. A lot of the little organizations that that need grants and stuff to do their different endeavors to help save them, they get grants written through the Pangolin Crisis Fund. So they're a really big organization that just funnels out money to where it's needed most on the ground. So
Awesome.
that is our goal. Aside from, learning about pangolins, appreciating pangolins, seeing how they're cute little creatures that just need love and care.
All the pangolin frenzy, yes.
Yes. And like I said, with the shop, this is the official launch of the merch store for myself and Persephone. Persephone is my wife. She's also another streamer. And you can find her by typing !wife, like so, in the chat.
Easy to figure out. That's nice. Hi, Persephone. Hello, wife.
Watch that one up here.
Okay.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
And if you need information about the shop, you can do !shop.
Oh no, you got a raid.
Hello, Rain. What's a pangolin? Well, you are in the right place to find out. Because we have a special expert here. Pangolin expert, say hello.
Hello. I will tell you all about the pangolin, and I'm very excited to do so because they are very cool little creatures.
Yes, they are.
Actually, I'm holding one up if you see it. He's sticking his long little tongue out. That's a pangolin.
All the raids. So, you don't know what a raid is, I don't think. But that is when another streamer has finished their stream and they are coming in with their viewers.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. I'm very new to the world of Twitch and video stuff, so I have no idea what's going on. But welcome! Welcome to the world of pangolins.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got her in, and she's like, okay, I'm happy to be a guest speaker, but what's a VTuber?
Yes. It's all very new to me.
So I had to explain what a VTuber was, and she's going to explain what pangolins are.
It's a two-way street.
Not to be confused with penguins. This stream is not about penguins, it is about a pangolin.
Yes, I have definitely had people tell me, or think that I said penguin when I was talking about pangolins, and then get really confused when I tell them I'm working in Vietnam, because they're like, I didn't know there were penguins in Vietnam. I'm like, no, there's no penguins in Vietnam. There are penguins in South Africa, and there are also pangolins in South Africa, but there are no penguins in Vietnam.
And they look quite different, too.
Yes, not quite the same animal.
But yes, penguins are fun. This is just not a stream dedicated to them.
Yes, lots of respect for penguins. Penguins are excellent. But this is not about penguins.
All right. So, just a quick overview of what to kind of expect from here is I'm going to show you a video to kind of set the scene about pangolins and what they are and why they're important and what's going on with them. So you're going to get that answer really, really soon, Gustav. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn to Juliana, and I've got some questions about what she's doing, because she's actually working directly with, some pangolins and the environment that they live in and everything. And then I have some other questions as well. And then we're going to have a game show. And the winner of the game is going to get a free item, whatever item they want, one free item from our shop. So, play to win, play for keeps. And then later, I'm going to go ahead and play the debut, my Hawaiian monk seal song. I haven't ever sung that live for you guys or anything yet, so it's my original song about the Hawaiian monk seal, which is an endangered animal as well. And then I will also I'll close out the event playing my Axolotl Song. So if you haven't heard my Axolotl Song, or if you have, you'll hear it again, but you will hear the Hawaiian monk seal for the very first time. So
super exciting. I'm excited to hear that.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video. Off speakers. Oh, let me Okay, so turn off the stickers for now, and we're going to play the video. Where did my video go? There it is.
The world's most trafficked mammal is one you may have never even heard of. The pangolin. Despite its lizard-like appearance, the pangolin is indeed a mammal. Some pangolins are as small as a house cat, while others are as big as a medium-sized dog. Pangolins are covered in as many as 1,000 scales, which protect them from predators like big cats. When threatened, a pangolin's natural defense is to curl up into a ball. Unfortunately, there's one predator that pangolins aren't able to protect themselves against: humans. According to some estimates, poachers have hunted more than 1 million pangolins in the past decade. Poachers use trafficking routes that span the globe, frequently shifting routes to evade law enforcement. All 8 pangolin species, found only in tropical Asia and sub-Saharan Africa, are now at risk of extinction. Pangolins are killed for a variety of uses, from medicine to luxury goods, with the greatest demand in China and Vietnam. Pangolin scales, often powdered or made into a paste, are prescribed in traditional medicine for everything from relieving arthritis to stimulating lactation. However, these remedies have no scientific basis. In fact, pangolin scales are made of keratin, the same material found in fingernails. Pangolin fetuses, sometimes consumed in soup, are erroneously thought to enhance a man's virility. But only the wealthy can afford to eat pangolin, which is consumed in parts of Asia to demonstrate social status. In 2016, CITES, the International Treaty on Wildlife Trade, voted to ban all commercial trade in pangolins. However, these creatures continue to be poached at an alarming rate, even causing a devastating crash in Asian pangolin populations. Recently, poachers have increasingly turned to African species. The largest confiscation of pangolin scales occurred in 2017, which, according to one estimate, came from about 20,000 African pangolins. Making prospects worse for pangolin conservation, pangolins face habitat loss. Plus, they reproduce slowly, giving birth to only one baby a year. But why should we care about an animal most people have never heard of? Pangolin dealers are often part of the same worldwide criminal networks that drive other animals, such as elephants and rhinos, toward extinction. Plus, loss of pangolins could prove to be an ecological and economic disaster for local communities. Pangolins eat termites that might otherwise destroy crops and buildings. Pangolins also suffer abuses in the wildlife trade, such as force feeding and injuries from snares. A few lucky pangolins survive being trafficked. Confiscated pangolins in Vietnam, for example, may be sent to a rescue center and returned to the wild. There's a lot of work to be done to ensure the survival of pangolins. Countries must work to reduce demand and enforce laws against poaching. Otherwise, these gentle creatures may disappear before most people even know they exist. For the latest news on pangolin conservation and other wildlife issues, check out National Geographic's Wildlife Watch. The world's most trafficked mammal is one you may have never even heard of: the pangolin. Despite its lizard-like appearance, the pangolin is indeed a mammal. Some pangolins are as small as a house cat, while others are as big as a medium-sized dog. Pangolins are covered in as many as 1,000 scales, which protect them from predators like big cats.
All right. Okay, so do you guys all feel like you know a little bit more about pangolins?
I hope so. That video is pretty great.
You got to turn your stickers back on.
I did. People are putting stickers up. So, that's actually a pangolin noise. They don't usually make very many noises, right? But they do make some noises. I specifically went searching for pangolin noises to assign to stickers.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I didn't hear it. Put it on. I don't think I've actually ever heard a pangolin before.
So, that was one. Did you hear it?
Oh, wait, no, I haven't muted.
Oh, that's right. Okay, unmute for a second so you can hear when somebody slaps down a sticker. And then somebody slapped down a sticker.
Oh, what? That's wild! I was not expecting that. That was very interesting. Okay, cool. See, even I'm learning things today.
Yeah, so apparently it's very rare to hear a pangolin noise, but when you do, they sound a little bit like that.
Okay, good to know. It's creepy hiss in the jungle. That's what I gotta look for. It's not terrifying at all. And I've been charged by elephants.
But yeah, and I also went looking for a Hawaiian monk seal noise. Since I've got a Hawaiian monk seal song, I made a Hawaiian monk seal sticker and put a noise for that too.
Oh, great.
Yeah, actually charged by elephants.
Just casually dropping that. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. I was working in Central Africa actually, and that was So Central Africa, I was working in Gabon, which is a country on the western coast of Central Africa. And it's a country that still has a lot of jungle and forest that hasn't been developed yet. So they still have a lot of old growth forest, which is really cool. And actually, the first and only time I've seen a pangolin in the wild was when I was in Gabon. We just kind of came up on it, and that was super exciting. Like, I absolutely fangirled. I started crying. It was a mess. But yes, I was also following elephants, collared elephants through the jungle for periods of 3 days to 20 days at a time. So we were camping in the forest and just kind of hiking through jungle, along elephant trails. So yeah, sometimes you would just kind of encounter an elephant, and surprisingly, they are very quiet in the jungle, so you don't necessarily see them when it's very dense. And you surprise the elephant surprises you, the elephant charges, and you run away. But usually it's just a false charge, so they charge really quickly, and for just a short distance, and as long as you run away, usually nothing bad happens. So yeah.
That
Exciting things
that
happen.
sounds excitingly terrifying.
Yes, that is a very accurate description.
Okay, so I guess that's a good time to ask you, like, what exactly do you do? Actually, hold on a second. Everybody saw the stickers stuff going on, right? Um, Make sure that if you want to participate in the game in a little while, that you have that turned on. So on the right hand side of your screen, the same place where you would like.
It's called Quiz Kit.
It's called Quiz Kit. Make sure to enable that. That way, when we do the quiz game, you'll be able to participate and it will show you the questions on the screen.
Yeah, there's a little container you have to click. It says visible. You want to make sure it's checked.
So make sure the visible button is checked. All right. So, what did you do? what have you been doing in Vietnam? Right?
So, yes, yes. So, actually, what was kind of cool is the organization that I'm collaborating with was actually featured in the video you guys just saw. So, the Pangolin Rescue Center, or the Pangolin and Small Carnivore Rescue Center in Cuc Phuong National Park, is actually set in northern Vietnam, and that's run by this nonprofit organization called Save Vietnam's Wildlife. They're really cool. They do a lot of really good work in terms of education campaigns and research, conservation, all of that. And they actually ended up being the nonprofit that my university partnered with in order to allow me to conduct research in a national park that's actually located in southern Vietnam, because this national park actually happens to be a release site for a lot of their pangolins that they rescue from these live wildlife trafficking seizures. And this is because the national park I was working in, which is called Cat Tien National Park, is one of the most well protected national parks in Vietnam. So they actually have quite a bit of funding and quite a few resources, and pretty good law enforcement down there compared to a lot of the northern parks, which have been drastically hunted out of their wildlife.
Aw.
So yeah, it's pretty tragic, especially up north and in a lot of parts of Southeast Asia. But Cat Tien is really interesting because it's a historically disturbed area. It was defoliated during the Vietnam War. It got logged for a while, and then there's a lot of development happening in the buffer zone around the park. However, there are parts of the park in the interior core zone, which are relatively undisturbed. The forest is still pretty intact. And so there's still quite a lot of wildlife there because they've managed to keep hunting levels relatively low. So it's one of the few parks that still has wild pangolins, small carnivores. I was the last frontier for the Javan rhinoceros before it was officially extirpated out of Vietnam. They still have a couple of bears, of wild sun bears, but very, very few. So anyway, so that's the park that I worked in. And so I'm actually doing my graduate thesis research there. And my research is looking at how human activities in forest structure affects the occurrence and the distribution of mesomammals, which is another way of saying medium-bodied mammals. And this includes small carnivores and pangolins as well. So basically, I was setting a bunch of cameras in the forest, on the ground, as well as up in the trees in order to see, you know, where animals would be in the forest and why they would be there, essentially, and if there were any negative effects um, due to human activity, things like proximity to urban areas or roads. And what's pretty cool is that most of the animals don't really seem to be negatively affected by people at this point. So it shows that even the degraded state of the forest isn't actually negatively impacting these species, which is a good sign. However, it means that the biggest danger to these species continues to be hunting, because obviously you look at the northern parks, and while the forests up there are a little bit more well preserved, they have drastically fewer animals. And this is because all of those animals have been hunted out.
Yeah,
Yes, humans can be jerks, but
that's
you
so
also have a lot of
sad.
humans who are trying to help them. So there are some good humans out there as well.
Yeah. I mean, look at all of us. We're all here.
Yeah,
We're trying to help. We're
exactly.
doing our part.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you're over there doing your like thesis and everything. Um, so I hope that you end up getting some really great research and figuring out how to really do a ton of stuff. Oh,
Mhm.
thank you for the donation, Dragon.
Thank you. I just saw a question about the reason for hunting them. And so it was mentioned in the video, but most of the demand is driven by urban markets in largely China and Vietnam, but kind of across Southeast Asia, as well as there's some demand levels in Europe and the United States as well. So we're not innocent here. But a lot of it is linked to traditional Chinese medicine and this idea of pangolin scales having a sort of medicinal value, which at this point has been unproven in science. I mean,
That
honestly,
video
pangolin
though,
scales are,
uh,
yeah, it,
I can't believe that one of the things that it says that you could use pangolin scales for was like to get rid of your financial woes.
yeah, there's a lot of like
A financial
interesting,
ritual. Like, okay,
yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean, a lot of TCM is rooted in, traditions, culture, some stuff that's like not as concrete. It's a little bit more spiritual. So yeah, people have their traditions, and especially in Asian cultures, like animals have very strong cultural connotations. And so like rhinos, for example, are representations of strength and virility. And pangolins are very grounded, and so you have a lot of like um of associations with animals. And this can be good and this can be bad depending on how the animals are being used. So it can be a way to help protect them by connecting people with their heritage and with their culture, but it can also be a way to exploit them.
Yeah, definitely. So there were 8 kinds of pangolin, right? What
Yes.
are they?
So yeah, so the pangolins, as they mentioned, there's 4 Asian species of pangolins and 4 African species of pangolins. So the 8 species are actually pretty much evenly divided, which is neat. In Asia, you have the Sunda pangolin, which is the pangolin that I detected in the park and is mostly located in Southeast Asia, including Indochina and Borneo. Then you have the Chinese pangolin, which is mostly located in China, the Indian pangolin, mostly located in India, and the Philippine pangolin, which is clearly located in the Philippines. They weren't super original with the names, but it works. And then the African pangolins species, you have the white-bellied pangolin, the black-bellied pangolin, and the giant pangolin, and these are all located in Central and Western Africa. and the ground pangolin, which is located across southern and eastern Africa and has one of the largest ranges of the pangolin species.
Here. I realized I should have like pulled up a picture or something so we could all see the different pangolin.
Oh
So,
yeah,
just a sec.
there's a nice like distribution map photo out there. I think if you just look it up, like pangolin distributions or something, and it's got the pangolin species.
That's okay. I've got a picture. Just need
All
to
right,
put it
sweet.
up.
But yeah, they all have like similar. Obviously, they look similar in their own ways, but they also look quite distinct when you see them. They all have their own little unique features, which is pretty cute to see. I think the Chinese and the Sunda pangolin are probably the most similar and the hardest to tell apart.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
So there are the different pangolin.
Oh,
So,
so cute.
which one is the one that climbs trees?
So let's see. Majority of them are actually arboreal. So the Chinese pangolin, white-bellied pangolin, the Malayan, which is the Sunda pangolin, the Philippine pangolin, and the black-bellied pangolin are all the arboreal species. And one way you can tell is by the fact that they have longer tails, and that's because these tails are prehensile and they kind of help them climb around and grab onto trees and stuff. Um,
So
and then the terrestrial.
prehensile and arboreal are
Oh,
words
yes.
that most people wouldn't know.
Yes, sorry. I'm trying to get better at my use of jargon. Prehensile basically means that they can use their tail like an extra arm, right? So there's some monkeys that can do this, like spider monkeys in South America will have tails that they can wrap around trees and hang from. Pangolins can do the same things. Like black-bellied pangolins and white-bellied pangolins have really long prehensile tails that they can use to grab onto trees and then just kind of like Spider-Man themselves over, to the next tree, which is pretty
So,
cute.
so on that pangolin picture, black-bellied pangolin, the Philippine one, and the white-bellied one, they all have that extra curled tail,
Hmm.
right? So that shows that they've got tree climbing tails, basically, right?
Yep. Yeah, basically, it's an extra advantage essentially, right? For gripping all those small branches and such. And then yeah, the Cape pangolin, which is I think also known as the ground pangolin, um, and the giant pangolins are both larger and stockier. You can kind of see from their build. The Indian pangolin as well, and those are species that spend most of their time on the ground. So they walk bipedally, like you'll see. I think you guys saw in the video there was some footage. It's really cute. They just walk like little dinosaurs, like little
They
velociraptors.
just look like little
Um,
dinosaurs or little dragons.
yeah, exactly. They're just miniature dragons, you know. So yeah, and those ones have like really big claws. Especially the Cape pangolin and the giant ground pangolin, you'll see have much larger and longer claws. And that's because they basically use those claws to break into those large termite nests that you see in a lot of southern and eastern Africa.
I
So,
saw a really funny video at one point of I think it was a giant, I think it was a giant ground pangolin.
hmm,
Uh, and it was pretty big. Uh,
yeah,
and
they're chunky.
and it was like wrecking a wall.
Oh yeah, they could basically like claw their ways through cement. Like these
It looked like a
these
cement
guys
wall,
have.
and he was just like having at it.
Yeah, they're really strong. They have a lot of power.
So, does that make them dangerous at all?
No, gosh no. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to get, you know, you wouldn't want to stick a claw somewhere, but the thing is that's not a major defense for pangolins. When pangolins get scared, when they're attacked by a predator or threatened by something, their instinctive reaction is to just roll up into a ball. And that's because you guys have probably noticed that they're covered in these these keratin scales, and these scales are really strong and really sharp. It's basically an armor for them. And the ends of their scales will kind of pop out when they roll up, just like if you uh, yeah, if you had something with layered scales like scale armor, for example, will do kind of the same thing. The scales will stick out if you roll them into a ball, and that can actually be really sharp and cut you if you're, a predator trying to eat it. Um,
Yeah, and it's
and then they
totally like
also
Sonic.
sorry?
Oh, in chat, Rain was like, upgraded Sonic.
Yeah, exactly. Sonic, if his quills were actually lethal. But yeah, so unfortunately, that's a great defense if you're trying not to get eaten by a lion. But unfortunately makes them really easy to just grab and stick into a bag for humans. So
Yeah.
humans will basically go into the forest and look for them, and then as soon as they see the pangolin rolls up into the ball, the person grabs it, sticks it into a sack. So unfortunately, it's not a very threatening animal for people
Yep. Oh, right, yeah.
outside of the stinky smell.
Oh, I don't think that anybody knows anything about the stinky smell.
Oh
So,
yes, I can tell you about the stinky
so does
smell.
that make them kind of like skunks?
A little bit, yeah. They essentially have an anal gland, which they can emit a strong odor from. So yes, they are very stinky, stinky. They don't spray it in the same way that skunks will, so it's not quite as insane. But it can definitely deter a hungry animal that's looking for a nice, easy meal. They might think twice if their food smells, a little musky.
Does that mean that they always smell that way, or is that just for defense?
It's mostly just for defense. The females and the males both actually will emit pheromones when they're looking for mates. So that's just a different smell. That's like pangolin speak for, hey, I want to meet up and maybe have a kid.
All right. And let's see, what else do I have for you? Although, how do they? So pangolins are usually only having one kid. Like they only have one baby per time that they produce. So they're a pretty slow
Hmm.
populating species, correct?
Yep. Yep.
Um, how do they go along and travel with the parent, and how long do they stay with the parent?
Oh yeah. So usually the juveniles will essentially when pangolins are born. Let me tell you this right away. The most adorable thing: baby pangolins are called pango pups, which I
Aw.
find very cute. Yeah,
Pango
I want to call
pups.
everything a pango pup now. um, yeah. So the baby pango pups are pretty vulnerable. They are actually born and their scales are not fully formed. They're quite soft and squishy. So they're very vulnerable. So what they'll do is they'll basically just hold on to the mother's back, and they'll just ride around on the mom's tail or their back. Um, and then if, for example, a predator shows up or threatens the baby or the mom will basically grab the baby and then wrap herself around it.
Aw,
So she
that
becomes
sounds
kind of
so
a protective.
cute.
Yeah, she basically becomes like a protective shield for her little baby. So mother's love, very cute. And yeah, so the babies will stay with the moms for about 1 or 2 years until they're fully weaned, and gained independence. Well, usually earlier than that, it's like um I think they're technically officially weaned at like 4 or 5 months, but they can stay with their parents for longer. You'll have really ridiculous photos of like pangolin moms with their giant juveniles just still clinging to the back. You can tell that's the kid that's like still living in the mom's house, that he's just been trying to get him to leave the nest, and he's like, nope, I'm gonna
No,
stick
I'm
around.
comfortable. I'm just gonna chill on your back. Thanks.
Yep, yep, sticking around.
I think I also saw it has to do with the different species have different lengths of time too, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it really varies.
So do they have teeth or anything?
So no, they just have those really long, sticky tongues. I think it's actually the giant ground pangolin. Its tongue is literally the same length as its body, which is pretty wild when you think about it. That's a lot of tongue.
Oh yeah.
Um, Yeah, but they don't have any teeth. They do have this cool feature, which basically acts the same way as a gizzard, like in owls. Which basically they will eat, as you know, they mostly eat termites and ants. They're very picky in particular. They use those long tongues to eat specific species of ants and termites. Each species has its preferences. They're quite picky, which is cute. Um, and they will also occasionally eat some stones, which are then used to help grind up those termites and ants in their stomachs. But no teeth, so they don't chew anything.
And how do they stop themselves? Like, I know they eat all the ants and stuff, but if they attack ant piles and stuff like that and get swarmed by ants, how do they like stop from getting bitten?
I mean, that's what those scales are for. They keep them, quite comfy, and they act like natural armor at the same time. So they can pretty much just go in and eat what they want. No need to worry. They also have some, I believe, some species, the African, the black-bellied pangolin, yeah, has hair actually on its body as well, and that allows it to be protected from the belly up from some of
Nice.
those like biting ants and such.
So, where do pangolin live then? We know that we've talked about them on the in the trees and on the ground. Uh, do they also have burrows or anything?
Yeah, so pangolins are kind of cool. They like to sleep in different areas depending on the species. So the arboreal species tend to prefer to sleep in nest cavities. So they'll find a tree that has, usually dead trees or trees that have holes or cavities in them, and they'll sleep in those, nice and cozy. And then the terrestrial species will look for burrows. Usually they like to go into the burrows of other animals. Burrows, for example, the ground pangolin likes to use aardvark burrows because aardvarks are quite large. They're about the same size as ground pangolins, and they like to dig these big burrows. So pangolins are a bit lazy. They don't like to make their own homes. They just like to go and crash somebody else's place.
What if there's an animal already in there?
Well, they don't usually go in if somebody else is in there, but they'll take the abandoned housing.
Knock, knock, anybody home? Don't mind
Yeah,
me.
yeah, exactly.
What if they're in the hole and then the aardvark comes back?
Well, then, the aardvark's too late. You snooze, you lose. The place has been taken.
And then the
I don't know. I
pangolin
don't think I'd want to get into a.
then the
I don't think I'd
pangolin
want to get
just
into a.
rolls up, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's gonna move. I wouldn't want to get into a fight with pangolin or try to move it anywhere. That's a lot.
Oh, that's silly. They're silly.
Personally, quite cute.
So, what exactly are the predators that they face? Like, we know that humans are the ones that really get them the most, but do they have any natural predators?
Yeah, I mean, not very many, obviously, because they're tough to eat. But occasionally you'll have larger predators will try to come and eat them. I've seen some interesting photos of lions kind of playing with a pangolin ball and just trying to get at it. The pangolin just kind of curls up and then casually walks off because it's kind of tough to eat a pangolin. But I guess if you had a very, very patient lion, maybe you could get a nibble in.
And what's your favorite pangolin?
Oof, I mean, that's a tough question because I love them all, obviously. I think, part of me is I always really like seeing African black-bellied pangolin, any kind of footage of them. A, because there's really not that much. They're very cryptic. They're one of the more endangered ones in Africa. But they just look so cool. Look at them. The colors
I
on them are
know the colors
absolutely
are very
gorgeous.
like striking and beautiful.
Yeah, they're absolutely
How
gorgeous.
long
And
can they?
also one of my
Oh, go on.
sorry?
And also what?
Just Yeah, just one of the really cool facts about them too is that they can have between 46 and 47 caudal vertebrae. Those are the tail bones, so specifically the bones of the tail, and that is the highest number of vertebrae in any mammal. So basically, pangolins have like the longest tails, as in like the most bones per tail.
Oh,
So
that's
that's pretty
cool.
wild, and yeah, and that's obviously, because they use those tails, prehensilely in order to get around, so having that super long tail allows them to move around better in the trees.
All right, so we have another question. How long can they stay in defensive mode without food and water?
Not very long, I imagine. They have to eat a lot. I think it was mentioned in the video, but I couldn't actually give you a specific number, but they eat a lot of ants and termites. They basically spend almost every waking moment running around and looking for ants and termites because ants and termites are nutritious, but they're very small. There's not much
Yeah.
going on there, so they basically spend a lot of their time running around and eating ants and termites. So usually, if an animal attacks them, they'll curl up for a bit and just kind of wait for the predator to get bored, and then they'll kind of move off. But obviously, depends on how much they're being handled and how stressed they are. Those kinds of things. Unfortunately, pangolins are actually quite delicate. They're very vulnerable to stress and disease. So that's one of the big challenges with trying to keep them in captivity. So there are very, very few zoos. You guys might have noticed this because nobody really knows about pangolins, and you don't see them in zoos. And that's because it's really, really tough to keep them in captivity. Mostly the African species, the Asian species, they've started figuring out ways to keep them in captivity. And this is mostly due to their diet and to the fact that they get stressed really easily, as well as to the fact that they are very vulnerable to diseases. So they can get sick and die really easily.
Yeah, I've been trying to find zoos and stuff that have a pangolin, but they don't exist hardly in any zoos because of that. They're so hard to
Hmm.
have in captivity and everything, uh,
Yeah, exactly.
which is sucky for raising awareness about them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely hard for raising awareness and hard for trying to obviously preserve the species by keeping a captive bred population. They're practically impossible to breed in captivity, especially. So all captive breeding efforts have pretty much failed at this point.
Oh,
The SVW Center in Kukfung really only keeps the pangolins so long as they can then be released back into the wild. They have a few that can't be re-released that they keep as education animals, but I don't know that they've actually been used for breeding efforts.
I see. So, what kinds of conservation efforts are actually being done to prevent things like poaching and the trade of scales? I've actually heard of like dogs being used as well as like trained rats.
Yeah, so the fight to help conserve pangolins is being it's a battle that's being fought on a lot of different frontiers. So on the ground where the penguins actually live, obviously you have your local law enforcement, rangers going out and patrolling the forests, and trying to catch poachers in the act. But also, you really have to make sure to pair that with other things like community engagement, education, and empowerment, because a lot of the time what happens is that you have these middlemen that come from um, either the urban areas or that come from big organized crime syndicates that come to these small poor local villages, and they pay people a pretty decent amount of money to go out and to hunt pangolins, and these people don't really know any better. They or maybe they do, but they really need the money because they need to take care of their families. So unless you can really engage the local people in conservation and make sure that they have alternative livelihoods, and that they're invested in protecting pangolins, you're always gonna have poachers out there
It's an uphill
collecting these
battle.
pangolins. Yeah, exactly. So you really have to stop things at the ground level, and just because once you start engaging the communities, we've seen this in all sorts of endangered species. that as soon as you start engaging the local communities and they start deciding to stop hunting and poaching, then that's where the real change begins. And then obviously, pangolins are not very well known. There's very little research being done about them because they're so difficult to study. They're super cryptic. Most of them are nocturnal. They hang out in trees or in burrows. They're really hard to see and find. Camera trapping them is very difficult. I set camera traps and I got maybe 20 photos of pangolins over my 8-month study. So, it's really difficult to get footage of them.
All right. Have a
And
good night,
then,
Gustav. Thank you,
oh,
Gustav.
yep, bye. Thanks for showing. Um, and so then you have the second frontier, which is the international frontier, and that's basically trying to stop the actual smuggling and trafficking of pangolin parts and pangolin, uh, like the live trade of the pangolins across borders. And so this is usually done at airports, and this is where you can employ sniffer dogs, X-ray technology in order to detect these large shipments of pangolin scales, which is usually combined with things like elephant ivory and rhino horn. So there's definitely a lot more research and money being put into this because stopping um, these big movements of illegal trade is really what's you know that's where you're gonna get the people. But unfortunately, a lot of this is also rooted in corruption, really high level corruption. You have people that essentially allow these animals to get trafficked through because they have some sort of monetary investment in it. And so, obviously, trying to stop the global trade is going to require a lot of local level corruption um, resolutions, basically, trying to fight that. And then finally, trying to fix the root of the problem, which is the demand, right? So ideally, you want to reduce the demand, which will use targeted marketing campaigns specifically for the where the highest demand is coming from, and that's generally the urban, middle, and business class populations in East and Southeast Asia. However, as I mentioned before, this is pretty difficult because of this long-standing cultural and historical value, as well as trends and all these things that make it really difficult to stop people from consuming these parts. I mean, it's a bit like telling people to stop eating filet mignon in America. It's a prestigious thing. It's really yummy. Everybody likes it. So if you just told people to stop eating fancy beef, or you know, I don't
Yeah,
really know what's
it would.
fancy meat here, but
I can see the
you know,
struggle.
yeah, it's hard. It's a tough thing to combat. But there's a lot of really great organizations and people that are really trying hard, that are putting a lot of money and effort into this. So gotta hope. Gotta hope.
Yep, gotta hope. Okay, so we are in the midst of a pandemic right now, right? Uh,
Yep.
which is making everything difficult for everybody, but also it's making things difficult for pangolins, right? Because
Yeah.
news stories about them being carriers for COVID have resulted in a lot of really bad press and created a fear of pangolins, which has led to people wanting to actively seek them out and kill them. Uh, so what's the real scoop about pangolins and the pandemic?
Yeah, so that's really a pity because honestly, this isn't even an animal problem, this is a human problem, right? Like a lot of environmental problems, honestly. Um but so essentially zoonotic diseases, which are essentially diseases that have been transmitted from animals to humans. First off, you need to understand are not new, right? COVID-19 is just one of many different kinds of zoonotic diseases that have occurred in the human population over the past human history, basically. So, for example, we actually had a very similar coronavirus pandemic that occurred back in 2003. I don't know how many of you remember SARS, but SARS was actually also a coronavirus, and they managed to track to the original species that the coronavirus came from was a bat. The bat transmitted it to a civet, probably in the wild, and then that civet was captured by people and brought to a market in China, and then that's where it was transmitted to people. Um, so scientists have hypothesized that it's likely that COVID-19 was probably spread in the same way. So by an animal that was brought to a market and then exposed to people. However, there's been a lot of research into this. Obviously, people want to know which species was it. However, they actually haven't positively identified the intermediary species, and that's that middle species. They hypothesized that the original vector was the original host of the disease was a bat. However, you know, there are plenty of species that can actually host coronaviruses, both domestic and wild. That includes civets, cats, and pigeons. So really, any of these animals that had been present in the market could have carried the coronavirus. Um, there was a paper that was recently published that had claimed that pangolins tested in the Wuhan market had carried similar strains of coronavirus, but then a more recent paper was published and provided evidence that the strain wasn't as similar as originally believed, and they concluded that pangolins aren't likely to be that intermediary species. But again, like the real problem isn't those animals, it's the high level of human wildlife exposure that comes with habitat destruction and live animal trade in markets.
It's all
Um,
the animal
yeah,
trafficking.
it
Don't
is.
just don't traffic animals and you won't have diseases.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
I
it's
mean,
trafficking,
at
it's
least not that many diseases.
yeah, it's also, the increased frontier between humans and wildlife. So deforestation, development, close to national parks and large areas where you have a lot of wildlife. So having, especially like having livestock farms right next to wildlife places. I worked in South Africa actually for a while on a buffalo disease ecology project, and a really big problem there was hoof and mouth disease, which was being transmitted between wild buffalo populations and domestic cattle. And then a lot of zoonotic viruses, globally have and can develop in livestock. Swine flu is a really good example of this. Swine flu developed in from a combination of infected influenza between a pig and a human. So yeah, it's not just wildlife, but definitely this high concentration of having animals in a place where humans also are is really just going to it's a numbers game. You're playing Russian roulette when you're sticking a bunch of animals with people in one place in a relatively unsanitary setting.
Yeah. So all of the money that gets donated to organizations like the one in Vietnam, right? Uh, through like donor organizations and everything, that goes to people on the ground, going and educating the people in the local communities and funding like park rangers and things who can go out and prevent poachers and all of that, right? Thing, for example.
Yeah. So a lot of these organizations will do different projects. They might have different targets. The organization SVW, right? They have their pangolin rehabilitation center, their pangolin and carnivore rehabilitation center, where they get all these, because the problem is, right, you have law enforcement which will confiscate these pangolins, which are often carried still alive, to restaurants in the cities. This is because people like to see their animals freshly killed, and it's all about freshness. Um, and so often the pangolins are still being carried around alive when they're confiscated, and the law enforcement basically just have all these animals and they send them to this organization which has one of the few rehabilitation centers for pangolins in the country and in the region, really. So they get flooded with all these animals, and they have a really good, rehab center, but they basically just try and bring all these animals back to health, allow them to get strong again so that they can go and release them into a national park where they can live their nice wild lives. They also fund research on the species. They do try to do targeted education advertising campaigns. They work with school children. They work with local communities. You've got some organizations that try to do like these mass marketing campaigns in the urban areas to try and target those the people that are really driving the demand. So that's really important too. Some funding is put into national parks, into, as you mentioned, helping to increase law enforcement capacity. So yeah, there's a lot of, as we mentioned, there are a lot of frontiers to this battle, and so most of that funding is going to help all those different important aspects.
Yeah, and all of those are so like it all adds up. So
Yep,
I'm
exactly.
glad that there's so much being done in all the different directions, because that's really how it all works for protecting any species. You can't just go and you can't address one problem when there's like a billion. And also you
Yeah,
have a greater chance of success by focusing on all the different ways that you could address the problem. Because
yeah,
just stopping it like after it's already happened and confiscating the scales, for example, that doesn't stop the root of the problem.
yeah,
You wanna
exactly.
stop it before it gets to that. So definitely. And so just a reminder that the shop is live and open, and 50% of all of the revenue made from it is going to be going to pangolin conservation all weekend. So feel free to take a look at the shop and everything. And if you like anything, feel free, because there's pangolin things, there's axolotl things, there's things of all kinds of designs, and it all goes to help save these awesome pangolins.
Support the pangolins.
For the pangolins.
And support cool art and
That
independent
too.
artists.
All right. So, as a reminder, okay, we're gonna go ahead and go into the quiz here in a few moments.
Did anybody else have any questions?
Oh, we missed one. Yeah. Are there any estimates for the illegal pangolin market volume?
Oof. So that's really, really tough because, there have been these huge confiscations, but it's really hard to estimate the actual volume of trade. That's why, pangolins have been, there's this claim that pangolins are the most trafficked mammal in the world. And this is based on these haphazard estimates that they make off of the confiscated trade volume. However, it's really hard to actually know what the true volume of trade is because you're not confiscating 100%. You don't even know what percent of the trade you're confiscating, right? It's impossible to know. So there's some really smart scientists that have tried to figure this out, but it's hard to be 100% sure. All we know is the population in the wild has been drastically decreasing, and the volume of trade is really, really high just from some of the confiscations they've made.
All right. So, as a reminder, before we start this game, make sure it is enabled. So make sure you can see all the questions popping up and everything.
It's called Quiz Kit.
It's called Quiz Kit, and I think you might have to be on desktop for it to work.
It'll be on the right middle side.
It'll be on the right middle side
of the actual stream itself.
Of the actual stream. So make sure you have that and you select it to enable it and everything so you can participate. The winner is going to get a free item from the shop, whatever you want. So play for keeps. Yes, happy pangolin. Oh no. There you go. Stickers on top now. But yeah, so play for keeps because you'll get a free item. All right. Give me just a second to get that started. And in the meantime, if you're on mobile, hurry up and get onto a desktop. Okay, quiz kit.
I hope everybody learned quite a bit about pangolins today. I guess we'll see now.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to see how well everybody does.
Yeah.
I think I can't. see
Hopefully
how
I didn't
anything
ramble
happens.
too much and some of that stuff stuck with people. Clearly I'm a complete pango nerd.
I think that's a good thing.
Me too. It's a good icebreaker because most people have no idea what a pangolin is. So,
Oh, that's how
first
I
thing I
feel
do
about
when
axolotls.
first thing I do when I go to a party or I meet a new person is, "Hi, have you heard of pangolins?" Like a telemarketer or something, you know?
Um, I can't find how it starts. I started it the other day.
Oh.
Here we go. Let's try. Okay. So now everybody go and make sure it's enabled.
Hmm?
Go check to make sure it's gonna work for it. Does everybody see the option and everything?
Do have it enabled or at least visible,
Okay.
I think.
All right, and you can't actually don't answer the questions.
I won't. I promise.
That would be an unfair advantage.
I shan't. I shan't.
Okay, I think. Okay. I believe it's about to start. So it's 15 questions. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and is everybody ready? And I'm glad that you learned a lot, let me. All right, so hopefully it's gonna work for you. I know you were having trouble seeing the quizzes yesterday, so, or whatever day it was. All right, I just hit the start button. All right, hopefully you see things.
Oh, cool.
That makes me feel happy. It sounds like you see something.
I do. I see World Pangolin Day. Do you know your stuff? Let's see if y'all know your stuff.
All right, cool. So, let's go. How many types of pangolin are there?
A timer?
Yep, you got 20, either
Ooh.
20 or 25 seconds.
Wow, it's like really down to the absolute decimal there. Jeez, they're
It
counting
is.
like milliseconds. That's
Oh,
stressful.
oh, you're right. That picture is a cheat. Oh, oh
Ooh. Oh well,
well.
you all got that one.
I hope
You
you
guys
all.
got that
I
one.
hope you all get that one then.
No excuses anymore.
We'll leave it. We'll leave it.
Might help with some other ones, you know.
All right. Next question. Pangolins are native to all of these areas except
Well, the image might help with that one too.
I was just thinking that too.
Those names, man. People are just so unoriginal with the names.
But surely no other answer would be given away by that, right?
Not sure, but
Okay, just in case, we'll get rid of it this time.
yeah, maybe.
I was like, for sure, just one gimme.
Okay, so hopefully this has given people enough time to memorize it.
Where is that picture? Oops. All right. Okay.
Yes,
Hey,
good job,
Peggy.
guys.
You're not too late to participate in the quiz that we're doing. But it might be kind of hard. Make sure to check the or to like on the right hand side of the screen. There should be a little plus button so that you could take the quiz. We're doing a little game show. All right. Hopefully you've got that all set up. Just enable it to allow the questions to show up, and you can participate. The winner is going to get a free item from our shop. So you can get a free item from the shop, or you can check it out anyway, and 50% of all the proceeds from the sales are going to support pangolin conservation. Not penguin, of course. I know you're a penguin VTuber, but we are actually celebrating pangolins tonight.
Wondering, I saw Pangolin and I was like, oh, is it a pangolin person? Oh, no, penguin. Okay, penguins are cool too.
All right, so hopefully you've got the things set up. So now we'll go to the next question. Which of these is not one of the unique adaptations that pangolins use to survive in the wild? Yeah, this is really a test to see how well you guys listen and pay attention. All right. Hello, hello. Oh no, you missed some stuff? Well, guess you'll just have to cross your fingers.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm doing good. Make sure that you enable the quiz if you're gonna play. The winner of this quiz is going to get a free item from the shop, and you know everybody's still in it potentially. You know, so go ahead and jump on in and continue and take the quiz too.
I mean, there's a 25% chance that you'll get it right, regardless. If you don't know anything.
What do pangolins eat?
And a snack would a pangolin want to eat?
All right, ants and termites with their tongue.
Yep, those long, sticky tongues. Have you ever eaten insects?
No.
They're not that bad. No, it's really not that bad. I've had quite a few different types of insect while I was working in various countries. And I will say the chili fried crickets in Thailand, really not that bad. Really quite good, actually. I'd eat that again.
Huh.
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, insects are going to be the protein of the future. It's sustainable. It's full of protein.
What are pangolin scales made of? Sorry, I clicked the button before you were finished.
All good. All good. I'm just waxing poetic about insects. I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
Well, apparently, Kaio has eaten grasshoppers or crickets, and they're not too bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if they're well done, like, if they're fried or baked so that they're not, squishy anymore and they're more just crunchy, you just fry them up with some chili oil and it's really not that bad.
I'm over here just being like, "Ee."
It's a very American thing to be squeamish about eating insects, but you go to like a lot of other countries and it's totally normal.
I know.
We were raised. It's a cultural thing for
Are
sure.
spiders edible? Let me wants to know.
Yeah. So I have definitely been in a restaurant where they serve deep fried tarantula. I did not order it, but it is on the menu. So yes.
Yeah, actually, a lot of the people in chat are from different countries as well. So we've got
Okay.
a nice mix of Americans and Koreans and Japanese and
Oh, cool.
potentially, I don't know where else, but other places.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've mostly eaten these things in like Thailand, Vietnam. I had grubs. It was like grubs or larva, some sort of larva when I was in Vietnam that the rangers made for me. And I know in like Central Africa they eat these like big juicy caterpillars. I did not try those, but they are apparently a local delicacy.
All right, so what pangolin scales are made of? They are made of keratin. Oh, very good. Everybody got that right.
Woo! I did my job.
Nobody thinks that their scales are made of vibranium. You know, the same thing that Captain America's shield is made of.
Oh, nice. That's good. I mean, it'd be pretty cool.
I mean,
And
isn't that
penguins.
why they're so protected from wildlife? Nothing can pierce their shell.
Yes, exactly it.
But good job, guys.
They're
Keratin.
immortal.
Same thing as
soldiers.
Fingernails.
Tough, but not that tough. Yes, maybe if they were that tough, they wouldn't get trafficked so heavily.
Right?
It's really hard to pry open.
Or maybe they'd want the scales even more. All right.
Ooh, yeah.
Which
True.
pangolin species is threatened with extinction?
Boy, I sure hope I did my job on this one.
This is a hard one.
Oh, boy, I hope not.
That's right. Pangolins are tough, but not that tough, unfortunately. Oh, good.
Okay.
Everybody knew that one.
Yay, good job.
All of them. All the pangolins are threatened. Some of them are considered endangered, and some of them are threatened, right? Like they're not...
Yeah, yeah. Most of the Asian ones are endangered or critically endangered because they've been hunted almost to extinction, and that's why the poachers have been moving to Africa, and so now the African pangolins are starting to be hunted down to extinction. So thankfully they're still doing a little better, but that's changing fast.
I see. Poor pangos.
I know.
What needs
Little
to be
faces.
done to save pangolins?
Yeah.
What can be done? It has to happen.
If there's any message I want you guys to come away with, it's this.
That's not the right answer.
Extreme.
No, that's the wrong answer completely. No.
I will admit, middle school Juliana would have agreed, but adult Juliana is a little bit more pragmatic. Yes, all of these. I mean, especially stop demand and empowering.
No. Killing humans is not the answer.
Yes,
I
let's
mean,
not.
how about jailing the bad ones? There's a more humane option.
generally. Or, just stopping the demand in general and.
All right, what ecological service can pangolins provide for humans?
Oh, good question. This one was a video one. I don't think I actually talked about this one too much. So let's see how well you guys paid attention to the video.
The bad
Yeah,
ones. I think
that's a good question.
yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, yeah, a lot of that is defining bad. I'm not going to get into a whole moral argument here, but the big problem stems mostly from the demand because that's what's driving the actual hunting, right? And the trafficking. People wouldn't be out there hunting or trafficking if people weren't buying them. This is all about money. It's a human issue. So really, the driver of demand is the main problem here. But obviously, we don't want to excuse people who are exploiting poor communities to, traffic a bunch of endangered species and get a bunch of money out of it. So
There's
that's
also
not good.
a chance that people who are buying them don't necessarily know that it's not a good thing to do.
Yeah. At this point, because it's become so internationally vilified, I feel like that's not really an excuse anymore. I think a lot of it is just like a cultural thing.
I see.
So people know that it's a problem, but they just don't care because, they have other priorities or, might not really understand. I think the problem is that, like, again, the whole moral argument doesn't work for some people. So that's not where you should be putting your
Yeah.
marketing energy.
All right, which species has the most tail vertebrae of any mammal? Ooh, this is a hard one because you definitely said it. But
Yes.
ooh, that's a hard one.
Hint, it's my favorite pangolin. I mean, favorite in quotes because I love them all, but
Yeah, I know. The shark fin thing. I definitely plan to do a shark fin shark episode.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
I love sharks and I'm so upset about shark finning.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. Oof. I've seen some footage and oh boy.
All right. Good job, people who picked black-bellied pangolin. Those are the tree climbing ones.
Yay! Yeah, arboreal species.
All right. Yeah, Shark Week. Maybe that might be a good time to do one for sharks. All right.
Yeah.
Where do pangolins not live?
Oh, I have a fun fact actually at the end of this one that I forgot to mention.
Oh yeah. So have the shark fins become a lot less popular then?
Oh, in Singapore. Oh, that's good. Or I hope it's less popular.
Oh right, everybody knows not to expect pangolins underwater. That's good.
Yay! So, yes, they definitely do not live underwater. However, fun fact, some species can actually swim. So it took me a while to figure that out, but there's actual footage of pangolin just swimming around, crossing rivers and stuff.
Well, I feel like most animals should be able to swim, right? Like
yes.
At least like basic swimming, not well, but
yeah. I mean, like, yes, probably. I think there's definitely some species that would really struggle swimming.
the
But if you look
giant one.
at pangolin, I mean, you look at pangolin, you don't really think like, oh, that can swim. It just looks like an armored tank, It just looks like it would just. But no, they're actually quite buoyant, surprisingly enough.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely recommend looking up videos. It's very cute.
And I'm glad to hear that they changed the shark fin stuff to something else.
Yeah, that's nice.
And Taiwan loves them. Ugh, yeah. Shark finning, man.
Yep.
I like got mad at a friend who was proudly saying that they had gotten some shark fin soup or something. I was like,
Oh,
do
boy.
you know what you are saying? Do you know who I am? Do you know what you're telling me? Can you? I cannot believe you. Explain yourself.
Well, I bet they decided that they made a bad decision opening that can of worms around you. I talked to the manager.
Ooh, somebody bought a sticker. Thank you. How exciting.
Thanks, friend. Yay!
Oh, how did pangolins carry their young? I hope you answered.
Yep. That's one I talked about a little bit for a while, so hopefully people remember that one.
Was that you, Dragon? All right. Yeah, so they carry their young on their tail or back, especially the ones
job.
that refuse to leave home, right?
Yes. Those clingy juveniles.
But the belly is a good a good guess because
Mhm.
you did mention how when they are babies and they don't have scales and stuff, if there's a threat, the mom will grab them up and hide them in there against them and roll around them and be all cute and protective and put a little armored tank around them, right?
Yep, exactly. So it is a good guess.
But
Oh yeah.
just carrying them around as they walk and stuff. They like
Yeah,
to...
it'd be a little hard to walk around with a pango pup on your belly as a big pangolin mom. You're not very tall. And they can't really cling very
scratching
well.
the tails, or not the tails, scratching the scales on the ground as the baby's trying to cling to the mom.
Yeah, not quite very efficient, but good guess, good guess.
They carry
the mom. Yes.
All right. Where is the greatest demand for pangolin goods? Sorry, that was a happy note. Where is the greatest demand for pangolin goods? The shame.
Well, the shame is global. The shame is our species, but specifically, I guess.
The biggest shame.
The biggest shame.
At least for pangolins.
Yeah.
Different countries have different shames for different reasons. For different reasons.
Yes. I'm French, and our shame is the foie gras, so I cannot
American,
claim it.
and I don't know. There's many shames.
Yeah. Yeah. There's problems. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Good job. China and Vietnam.
Yeah.
Whale oil. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, that's not great.
For the U.S.? Whale oil for the U.S.? I don't think so.
Definitely before. Yeah, it's pretty much why all the whales went, critical for a while.
All right. There's 15 questions, so we're almost through. Despite there being no scientific evidence behind this, pangolin scales are marketed to cure and this was from the video. And also from us chatting.
Yeah, it's true.
Ooh, an even split.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it's marketed as this cure-all.
Mm-hmm. The financial misfortune thing, that just gets me. That's so crazy. But people have their
What gets me is that because these pangolins are it's this illegal trade and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I presume it's kind of expensive.
Oh
to
yeah.
try to get your hands on pangolin products. So they're like, man, we are really struggling financially. let's
Oh,
go
no, yeah.
let's go buy this really expensive pangolin powder and
Yeah,
and sprinkle it in the lawn. I don't know how it works. And
yeah.
say some magical voodoo. And our misfortunes will be cured.
Yeah, it's a little tough. It's, so yeah. I mean,
Like,
obviously can't claim to understand it all because 'cause I'm,
oh, yeah,
don't
yeah.
really
I mean, honestly, it's
look.
all very cultural, and I feel
Yeah.
that was actually very insensitive, probably. Um,
It's fine. It's just yeah, it's one of those things where,
it's
it's so hard to understand where it's coming from, but yeah.
curing financial misfortune by buying useless trinkets is the reason they're having
Maybe.
problems financially.
Maybe, but,
That
honestly, like, most of the again, like, the people who are driving this demand, who are buying most of these products, they're not poor. They might be having financial misfortune, but they're not actually poor for the most part. These are mostly relatively wealthy or middle class, urban businessmen, largely, are the main consumers of these products. Same thing with rhino horn, elephant ivory, tiger bone. It's a very similar type of clientele, and that clientele is not poor by any means.
I see. Okay. So they're not really struggling.
Yeah, I mean they might have gone down, they might have made some bad investments or something, and they're like, well, better, either go pray or buy some pangolin powder, I guess.
It's basically like good luck. A good luck charm.
Yeah, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
whatever their equivalent is.
Either way, it sucks. Small
Yeah, it's not
species
great
of
for the pangolins.
pangolin are about the size of a.
Oh, oh, this was in the video as well, I think. Hopefully people get this one, because I'd be a little alarmed otherwise. Some of these options linked. Yeah. Honestly, I'd be a little bit more terrified by the panther-sized pangolin, to be honest.
I kind of
Yeah.
feel like a panther-sized pangolin could be, uh, could it be plausible for the giant one or whatever? Uh, it seems.
Quite that big. Like, giant is, maybe, like, knee tall. They're chunky, but they're not, like, chonky, you know? Uh, I think somebody, a SciCommer on Twitter, made a joke today about like whale-sized pangolins, and I just couldn't get that out of my head because today's also International Whale Day. So, not to take away from the whales by celebrating Pangolin Day, but also
Happy Whale
Happy
Day!
International Whale Day to everyone. But yes, no, whale-sized pangolins would be like basically dinosaurs. I mean, we're just talking giant mammalian dinosaurs at this point.
Yeah. And I could also see like a big mouse. Actually, I could see like
Mhm.
mouse size for like a baby pangolin.
Yeah. I mean, or a very large mouse. I guess there's some larger mice,
Yeah.
but yeah, most pangolins are a bit bigger than that, like house cat
They tend to be
sized.
between small house cat to large dog size, right?
Yeah, basically, like medium-sized dog. Yeah.
All right. Which of these predators is the most successful hunter of pangolins?
Oh boy, sure hope we manage to explain this one as well. Penguin. Oh yes, penguins can be brutal. Honestly, a lot of animals that you wouldn't suspect are really brutal, like dolphins.
Yeah, dolphins are like mean.
Oh yeah.
they're
Oh yeah. I'm not
so
even gonna go into
they're so happy and fun, but they're actually really mean.
Yeah, they're very smart. Unfortunately, I feel like with intelligence comes a certain level of cruelty.
Yeah. Maybe we should.
Yay!
Maybe
Everybody
we should
got
have
this one.
Yeah, all right. Everybody knows that humans are the worst predators for pangolins. No, we're not killing all humans.
We're back on this, are we? Oh, jeez. Oh.
Look, but you
Yeah,
guys are all
seems bad.
here. You guys are humans.
Yeah.
All humans aren't bad because you're not bad. I love you.
We do have a human problem, but we also have a human solution. So
That's
the most
right.
important.
Okay. Drum roll. Who's gonna be the winner?
Woo,
The final
let's see.
results. All right. Let me wins.
Good job, let me.
All right. Followed by Komori Kaio, and then Dragon, the Waifu King, and then Pangy, and then Persephone.
I just did a couple of the questions. Literally 2. It felt like cheating.
Yeah, you did know a few of the questions. All right, you want Kaio to have the prize? Sounds like Kaio, you're getting the prize.
Good fun, Dragon. Thanks for participating.
Yeah, that was really good.
Actually, thank you, all of you.
I don't know how shipping works, but it's done through our website thing, so I assuming that it can get shipped to you, it should be okay, I think. Have you ever bought anything through whatever it's called? Teespring?
I haven't personally, so I actually don't. Teespring, no. But yeah, usually if it's like one of those big distribution companies or whatever, they take care of all the shipping and stuff. So unless you're like in some really remote area, it should hopefully be fine.
Wow, really? $30 for shipping usually?
Jeez. You live. Well, okay, don't answer that, but like, jeez.
Okay, well, we'll see, but I want to make sure you guys that you get something and stuff. And I think that Teespring has different locations where they print from across the globe to make it internationally okay.
Oh yeah, that's
so nice. I'm pretty sure I read that like they cater to streamers. Teespring's like has all this stuff incorporated to make it easy. If you look at my about section, you'll see that they've got like a widget and everything, so you can actually buy an item straight from still being on Twitch. And if you buy an item either in my shop or on Twitch while I'm streaming, it'll show up on the screen as well. So it's all very interconnected. It's designed for streamers to be used for streamers and their viewers. So I can't imagine that there should be a problem.
Yeah.
And if so, then I will have words because I will be a Karen.
Oh boy. Best watch out, y'all. Axolotl Karen's coming through.
But yeah, so now I guess it's time to debut the the song, huh? So
I'm excited.
You all know that I've got my Axolotl Song, and I like to make songs about endangered animals and threatened animals and everything. And Pengy even popped in here excitedly to tell me about the different song that I'm currently working on. Pengy is actually doing the backtrack for it. It's the one about mimic octopus. So that is going to be hopefully done soon. So maybe I'll have a song debut in the next few weeks with the octopus song. But for now, I've got the Hawaiian monk seal song and my axolotl song. So to give you a little bit of a backdrop and everything, what are my thoughts about aquariums? I like aquariums. I think that they're a really important tool for education and conservation. They do a lot of research. They fund a lot of research. Obviously, some animals, it's really gray area because you want to have the whales should have huge enclosures that generally can't really be satisfied in an aquarium. So like whales and dolphins and stuff. I'm not really the best on the best feeling on that, but at the same time, on the other hand, you would never get to see and experience and like feel this kind of emotional and physical connection with the animal that would create next level of environmentalists. If you don't like those can create a snap moment in time where you suddenly are like, I want to become a marine biologist. Oh my god, this animal, I can see into its soul, or you just are so in awe. So it's I think aquariums are absolutely essential, and I feel the same way about zoos. But there are
Definitely agree.
But it's definitely a little bit of a gray area when it comes to that, because you have to do it's a trade-off. Is it worth it to have an animal in captivity versus in the wild? And usually I think it is, as long as you're not taking too many out, and as long as you're treating them humanely and giving them a life that they can enjoy and that's mimicking their wilderness. But yeah, it's different and it's kind of hard sometimes. Oh, thank you for the follow. But yeah, so it's definitely a interesting conundrum. All right. So let me go ahead and
make sure your guest unmutes the stream so she can, unmutes the stream so she can hear.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, she'll
only hear
you'll only hear me if okay.
Yeah.
Okay, did you hear that? Yeah, you should unmute the stream. And you'll want to mute me in Discord.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go ahead and take a moment. So I'm gonna put up a fun little music starting soon screen that I love very much. That was actually made by Let Me. So enjoy this as I get my music stuff prepared. All right. Okay. So you guys ready? Let's see. Okay, sorry. Guess I'm gonna turn this around a little bit.
Still too quiet.
Ah! Okay, let's see. More sound for me?
That's not gonna help. You
Pull
need to be
this.
closer to your mic.
Okay, I'll pull my mic closer.
And maybe turn down.
Alright, let's try this now. Yeah, sorry, a couple false starts. Alright, hopefully hopefully this'll do it. Leo holo ika ua ua Leo holo ika ua ua Hawaiian monk seal sleeping on the shoreline, living on island time. Leo holo ika ua ua Forage in the Hawaiian Bay. Sometimes choose Poipu to spend their day. They are Hawaii's pride. Don't even think of taking them for a ride. Hawaiian monk seal sleeping on the shoreline, living on island time. Leo holo ika ua ua He's surprised when the locals say they only live along Hawaiian bays. Hawaiian monk sea sleeping on the shoreline. They only live along Hawaiian bays. It's up to us to make sure that they stay. Hawaiian monk seals sleep on... You guys, I am messing up so bad. Hawaiian monk seals sleeping on the shoreline, living on island time. Leo holo ika ua ua Find 'em up past Kauai, maybe in Hawaii, Oahu, Maui, and Molokai. You'll never want to say goodbye. Thank you. I actually really butchered the song. Like, really, really bad. You don't know because it was like the debut and the first time you've ever heard it, but I butchered it a lot. It was so bad, you guys. I have to sing it again. That was an extra special version. I didn't have a chance to practice. That's the exclusive special for the Pangolin event. Thank you. But yeah, I did this song when I was in yeah, no one else will hear that version ever because I don't think I can redo that version the same way. But I actually made that song when I was doing my master's thesis in Hawaii. And it was very much unrelated to Hawaiian monk seals. But when I went there and I saw Hawaiian monk seals, I fell in love. Just like how I was talking about how you could go to an aquarium and be like, oh, wow, I'm so inspired. Save the VOD while it lasts. I sure hope that this is still, like, that it's recording the VOD. But yeah, so I had this moment where I saw these beautiful Hawaiian monk seals, and they were just lounging on the beach. And they had signs up that said, "The seals that you see on the beach are alive. Do not touch them. Do not approach. They are okay. Just leave them alone." But yeah, so they were just chilling there, and they'd roll over and be cute, and it was just, oh, they were so cute. They're stinking cute, guys. I love them. And they're endangered, and they need to be saved and everything. So I wrote a song. Instead of doing my work, I actually was like, I'm gonna blow that off, and I'm gonna go and record myself playing ukulele at the beach, and doing the song and everything. So I wrote the song, and then I went to the beach and set up a camera and recorded myself and played the song, and then I pieced it together and made a legit music video. Oh, nice. You're writing a song about polar bears? I can't wait to hear it. I love polar bears. Don't have a song about them though. But yes, so I've got this this Hawaiian monk seal song that I wrote during my my time in Hawaii. And I also am in the middle of a pangolin song, which I got inspired to make after I first learned about pangolins, which was several years ago by now, and I just haven't finished the song. And I feel really upset because I should have had that song finished for this. That would have been perfect, but ah well. And then I also am working on a song about mimic octopus. And that is what Pangy, who is probably hopefully still in the chat here, he has been working on the backtrack for it. Second Pangolin Day. And so the backtrack is what I need, and then I need to figure out how it all goes together with my lyrics and everything. And then I'll have the octopus song done. And that was made because one of the people in my chat suggested that I do a song about octopus. Oh, thank you for getting the die cut sticker, the pangolin support sticker. And a lot of the money that I raised during my streams and everything is going to be a kind of a mix of where it's going to go, but a lot of it is going to go towards helping me make music. So I'm trying to write like 6 songs. I'm giving myself like a goal of 6 songs, and then I'm gonna go and actually record them in a recording studio. So I've got the Axolotl Song done. I've got my Hawaiian monk seal song. It's actually called Aloha Seals. So that's what the seal song's called. Aloha Seals. And the Lio Holoiki. Sorry. I can only say that in song. Lio Holoika. Ua ua. That is how you say Hawaiian monk seal in Hawaiian. And it means like dog that runs underwater or something like that. That's what it means in Hawaiian. Something like that. I don't remember exactly. And yes, I will be releasing a CD. That's like my goal. My goal is to create a little album and make a little awareness album about animals and stuff. And so the merch in the shop right now, all of it this weekend is going to be supporting pangolins for Pangolin Day. And then afterwards, I'm going to be doing different things like with different animals. Every time I create a new song, or if I do a special shout out kind of stream for animals, I'm going to get animal artwork and it'll be added to the shop, and there will be that specific animal kind of merchandise. And then it will go to support, like, you know, if I do some kind of a charity thing for it, then it's going to go and support that kind of animal. So I'm going to pick a axolotl conservation place, or somebody that's doing something with axolotls. I actually have one place in mind, but I want to research them a little bit more. But they're actually the ones who got me into pangolins, believe it or not, because they deal with axolotls, they deal with pangolins, and they deal with a couple of other things too. And I happened upon them, and they were the ones who opened my eyes to pangolins just by casually talking about pangolins and stuff. Yeah. And then I've got my Axolotl Song, which I'm about to sing now too. And that'll be where I end up wrapping up the whole stream and everything. But my Axolotl Song was inspired by, I actually had an axolotl. When I was in college, I learned about axolotls in my biology class or whatever. And I thought that they were super cool. I was like, wow, those are funky and cute and weird, and I love them. But you are welcome. I'm glad that there are people who love animal songs, because I want to be able to have I want animal songs to be something that appeal to and are appreciated by anybody. I kind of feel like mine end up sounding more like children's songs. I worry about that, but at the same time, I want them to appeal to anybody and everybody. So, yeah. And yeah, so my axolotl song, I had an axolotl, and people would ask me, sorry, I got an axolotl because I was on Craigslist, and I saw somebody was like, I've got a whole bunch of baby axolotls that need homes. And I'm like, what? I can have one? What? And it turns out that it was somebody from my university, a professor, had an axolotl tank and everything, and they were studying their axolotls, and they had some babies. So they gave me a little baby axolotl, and it was like the size of my fingernail, my pinky fingernail. It was so small and cute and precious, and I was so scared of putting it in a little tank. I had the smallest little tank, and it was so little. But anyway, so I loved it very much. And they're sometimes called water dogs, and they definitely act a little bit like dogs. They're very cute. 10 out of 10. Cute. And so people would be like, oh, I have a dog. What do you have? And I'm like, oh, I have an axolotl. And they're like, oh, an axolotl? What is an axolotl? And I'm like, oh, well, you see, an axolotl is blah, 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 right? So because nobody seemed to know what an axolotl was, I wrote a song. And so then the next time somebody asked me, what's an axolotl? I pulled out my handy-dandy ukulele, and I'm like, let me sing you a song! And so then I sang them the Axolotl Song. So let me sing you a song, the Axolotl Song. Axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl. Axolotls come from Mexico. With feathery gills they tickle nearby fish. Oh no, they stay babies their whole life. Whoa, never go through metamorphosis. They're so cute you wanna give them all a kiss. Axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl. Axolotls are endangered because they have no home. The lake they live in has been destroyed. So now we keep them as our pets and pamper them every chance we get. Axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl. Scientists study these little floofs, 'cause their healing powers are through the roof. Axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl. One more time. Axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl, not a lotta, axolotl. So that is the Axolotl Song. And yeah, I would love to see an animation. You said animation, right? An animation for that? Maybe one day, right? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge to the animator in the room. um, I'm glad that you liked that. But yeah, so axolotls are pretty cool. As you can see, I I think that they're pretty cool since I am one, right? Wink. I can't wink. I'm trying to wink. It's not winking. But yeah, so they are very interesting. They're aquatic salamanders from Mexico, and they don't ever go through metamorphosis, so they basically stay in their tadpole-ish kind of state. They grow legs, but they keep that like tadpole kind of body shape and everything. And if they get hurt, they can regenerate. And it's more than just like a salamander losing its tail or something and growing it back. Literally, if their brain gets injured, they can grow it back, for example. It's pretty intense and pretty cool. And that's actually why they are super heavily studied in science, because they're like the fountain of youth, and also stem cells. How can humans use this knowledge, right? So they're very, very important in science. Yeah, they're very wild. It's crazy. But the other crazy thing is that they're only found in one lake system in Mexico, which is completely uh, polluted and dredged. There's invasive species that people have put into the water. They put in game fish for fishing, and those fish like to either eat axolotls or eat the things that axolotls eat. So there's not a lot of axolotls. Nope, not a lot of. And it's really sad. I actually can't find a. I want to find the most recent surveys and studies to see if there's been any found in the wild in the last like couple of years or anything. But the last surveys that I was able to find and everything says that they couldn't find any. So I don't know if they're actually fully extinct in the wild yet or not. I know that there are some efforts to like reintroduce them and doing breeding programs and stuff, but it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle, especially because their range is so small and because there's so many problems in Mexico around that lake. But they will never go extinct. As far as like, you'll always be able to know that an axolotl exists because they're found in the pet trade and they're found in science and everything. They're bred specifically for the pet trade and for science. But yeah, wild axolotls need help and it's an uphill battle. But they're really cool. I love them. But yeah, so does anybody have any more questions about pangolins or axolotls? Because we are your go-to folks here. And Juliana, if you wanna pop back in, what did you think of the songs?
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you. You are back.
All right. That was absolutely adorable. I loved it. Wow, I can't sing for schnaz, so honestly, that was quite commendable. Especially you said that was like your first try on the monk seal song.
Oh my goodness.
Dang,
Oh my goodness.
you belted that out. Like that's
Uh...
shocking. I would have flipped a lid if I had to perform a song that I'd never ever practiced, or even like made a speech or did a talk that I hadn't practiced.
Well, I mean,
Wow. So
I know my song. I don't know it to my backtrack.
yeah, pretty important. So kudos. Seriously.
So I'm like, I don't know when I'm supposed to start. So I missed all my cues.
Oh yeah, it's work in progress, right?
But actually, I was thinking of showing you guys my video, my music video, where you can actually see the original song that I had written and performed in Hawaii. If you'd like to see it, that would be an exclusive premiere because I'm not really sharing that around necessarily. So people who watch this and the VOD and everything could see it. But I'm not specifically sharing it around because this is going to be, it's a face reveal. Dun dun dun!
Oh boy, I'm guessing that's a big deal around here.
For a VTuber it is.
Okay.
Okay, so give me a second. I'm gonna put on the music. Be right back screen again. So I can pull up a video.
I'm guessing I should mute myself again then.
Yeah. I'm going to present the original version of the Hawaiian monk seal song. That is what's happening. So hold on just a moment and you're gonna see the first look of the real original.
How old is this song?
This is from 2013. No, wait, no, that's 2013. No,
16.
2016. 17. Something teen. All right. Okay, enjoy. All right, so that was Aloha Seals, and my musical stage name is Kaylita Rose. Let's see. How do I stop that? Here we go. I'm glad that you liked it. And so now you see how I have the backtrack and it's the same, but it's different, it's more polished. It doesn't have the, you know, all the background echo and noise and stuff. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna record that, just better, newer. That is the original Hawaiian monk seal song. And then I've got my Axolotl song that you've heard, and then the other songs that I'm working on, and it's gonna be great. Thank you for your continued support. So now I'm gonna go ahead and rate us on over to somebody else so we can support another streamer. So let's see who is doing stuff. And I hope that you all have learned a whole lot and have really enjoyed this. I would like to do more things with Aw, thank you, Dragon. I'm glad that you were able to make it, all of you. But yeah, I'm really hoping to do more streams similar to this. I was really happy and lucky to get Juliana to come on and be a guest speaker for us. She was definitely very, very knowledgeable. Thank you so much. You have been wonderful. Yeah. I don't know how many people are doing VTuber science education and stuff like that. I'm trying to kind of collect people who are doing the well, I guess that's, you know. I'm trying to collect the environmental VTubers and stuff. But then there's other people who are doing things with like astronomy. Some people are like teaching language. They're doing like Chinese class sort of things where they practice things with each other. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. And then I've gone onto a stream and come across somebody who was talking about astronomy and stars and stuff, and they were showing different stars and constellations and things. Thank you so much for coming by. And anybody that's here who hasn't already, make sure to join the Discord. Join the Discord. Yeah, it's social. Yeah, and follow me on Twitter. You can also follow my wife Persephone. You can also check out our shop. And remember, any of the sales that are made this weekend, sorry, are going to go and support pangolin conservation. So feel free to have at it. Tell your friends, buy people gifts and stuff. And I know I owe one of you, Kaio, is going to get a something from the shop because the winner, Let Me, decided to give it to Kaio. But yeah, make sure you follow me or follow us in the Discord and Twitter and everything, and stick around because there will be more streams like this. I'll do things. I actually made a list of different like awareness days for different animals and stuff. Boy, is there a lot. Like, whew. But, you know, animals need love, and there's lots of animals, so, you know. But I'm not going to be excessive about it, of course. I would never be excessive about animals. No, not me. No way. But yeah, this is kind of what I'd like to do, have guest speakers sometimes and teach you guys stuff in a fun way where it's fun and interesting and you learn things without feeling like you learned things, or maybe learning things is fun and so you like to feel like you learned things. I don't know. Endless streams. But yeah, so everything has been, you all have been awesome, and I'm really glad that you were able to come and learn about pangolins with me. So I'm gonna go ahead and have us go over to, let's go to Kieran, who tends to be super duper chill and relaxed and fun. And I don't know if this is gonna happen, but it seems like sometimes I'll have us go over and that's when he's ending. But looks like it's a fun collab kind of thing where they're playing a game together. Seems like fun. You love learning and you're a nerd and happy about it. That's good. I think that learning is really important. Just to always keep learning new things. Because if you stop learning, then you're gonna get left behind. I feel like that's kind of one of the problems in today's world. People don't want to listen to new information as it becomes available. They want to stick to the old stuff. So I think learning constantly is a critical piece to solving all of the world's puzzles and problems. Alright, so let's go ahead and right on over to Kieran. Thank you all so much for coming. I loved spending all this time with you. And thank you guys to the ones that bought something from the shop to support you know, the pangolin conservation, and also to you know, help us out, because this was our official shop launch. So woo! This is our first time launching the store, and we put a whole lot of effort into it. We got a bunch of different things made for all the different animals and stuff. So hopefully you like the designs and think they're cool. In the event that you see a design that you wish had a different phrase or something, let me know, because, you know, I know a person. The person's me. I could make it happen. Or Persephone. What?
You're still quiet.
Alright, there we go. I turned.
So quiet.
I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and raid over to Kieran. So let's go. Have a good night, you guys. I'll join you there with Kieran.